Welcome everybody, it's Nairi. I've got a fun project for you today. It's called a raggedy, and I got this idea from Nick the Booksmith, I think it is, and I believe she's probably the first one to come up with it because anybody else I've seen that's done it is actually attributed to her, but I might be wrong. So here we have a little bit of old Amazon envelope, and the idea of a raggedy, let me show you one that I've done already. So this is a fold out one though, okay? So this is different than what we're going to do today. And it's just my take on it. A raggedy, I'm sure you understand, it's going to look ragged. That's the whole idea of it. Now where is it? Where is it? Here it is, here it is. So this one's a fold out one in my coffee and chocolate journal. And the one I'm going to make today, I'm going to make to go in that journal. Although, I have to be honest, it's super fat and thick. So I'm not sure it's actually going to fit in there. So this is one that's more interactive. So we've got a little envelope there that people can put stuff in. We've got this flap up here that actually has some paper in it. And we have another little flap out there. And obviously there's other places you can write on it. Now this has got a bit of sewing on it, but this piece of paper that I used already had the sewing on it. And then I stenciled it, okay? So it's a bit different from what we're doing today. And what I would say is, sorry if we're getting any camera issues, by the way, because I'm in the kitchen because I have a bad back, so I've moved all my camera around. So what I would say is they are better sewn at the end. So if you were able to then sew around or kind of just random sewing with zigzags, that would look so much better. But I can't access my sewing machine at the moment, and some of you might not sew, might not like sewing, and or you might not have a sewing machine. So today's is going to be accessible for everybody. So as I say, the whole point of a raggedy is for it to look like it's spilling over. It gives more volume to a journal. Not that I need that with that journal, but it gives volume, gives interest, and it's fun. So mine's going to be a mixture of kind of looking rough with a few pretty bits thrown in. So I've got this music paper. So it's just a case of making it look how it, I don't know, sort of how it falls really, letting it develop. So I've got an envelope and I definitely want to use that, so just rip that down. So I hope you guys are doing good. I've nearly finished my coffee and chocolate journal. I reckon within the next few days I'm going to be able to finish it and give you a flip through, and I'm really happy with it. It's gone from being quite a regular looking journal to having lots of interesting stuff thrown in, I think. Now, so we could have that on the front like that. To be honest, that's quite big. I have it on the back and then it wouldn't matter. I don't know if I can tear through that though. So I'm going to tear that down. I'm going to actually tear the top off. So I do want that window, I think. That would be fun. We can pop something in there. So that's going to go on. I need some of this as well, so let's just tear that. So the idea of it as well is if you've got a project like I have where I've been doing lots of stuff and I've got sort of random bits left over. I mean, this isn't a random bit, this is going to go on, but bits that are left over from a project, you can add it into the journal and it's going to look like it kind of belongs to the journal. So I do think I'm going to put fabric on. Now that wasn't, Nick didn't show fabric, but I'm pretty sure she looks like the type of person who would have a go at popping anything on really. So I've got this piece of paper here. So I'm just going to try and lay this out. So this is cut quite regularly here, but I don't want to rip that down. Now it's got to spill over the edges a bit. Here's some vellum, and vellum, I don't think I can tear the vellum, can I? Oh, I can. Oh, that's good. So the vellum's going to spill over the edge, and out there. So I've got some glue. I've got different types of glue. Now I might cheat and I might use my better glue because I want it to dry really quickly for you guys. I don't want you to be hanging around waiting for my glue to dry. So I've got a feather. So I'm just laying it out, and I've got this beautiful, this is actually a vintage lace doily, which I'll be honest, I've been hoarding it, but it does fit really well with my coffee and chocolate. journal. So I don't really want to cover that too much. This is the problem with this. Maybe that it's not the right place for it, but pop that there like that. Decide what's going to go kind of in that envelope. Maybe this could go in. You see, might rip this down a bit, even though it's a really nice image. That's okay, it's a bit bright for where I'm going with this, I see. So I think that could kind of go on there. And we don't want anything too sparkly white, do we? Because this envelope is sparkly white. I'm not going to do any stenciling on it today, I'm just keeping it straightforward so that any of you could have a pop at this, I think. I like that in there, but I wonder whether if it was the other way around and torn down a little bit, we could see the image a bit better. So let's do that. So I hope you guys are doing good. We're typically on a British rainy weather day. Because I'm in the kitchen for my bad back, so I normally film outside in a garden, not outside, but in a garden room. I'm in the kitchen and I've tried to put the kitchen lights on over and it just makes a really weird effect on the camera. So I'm going to be editing. That kind of works, doesn't it? I'm going to be editing and brightening up this video for a great big amount, I would say. So then we've got this. Now that looks too contrived in a way, but that could definitely work, I think. But then a little bit won't hurt, so let's put that in behind there. I think it's building okay. That would be, because I quite like the paper bag behind. I don't want it now. I have this amazing, lovely scrapbook paper. Well, I say amazing, it's just very pretty. So it's whether we include something pretty, you know. And it's what you include. I almost feel like this piano thing is sort of nice. That could look nice on there. So it's spilling over nicely at the minute. So let me, sorry, that's my dishwasher. That's why I explained them in the kitchen, because you'd be like, that sounds like somebody choking and dying. It's just the dishwasher. I think the dishwasher has some issues. So I'm not loving that, it's a bit too regular, but I hope that dishwasher stops soon. Maybe that can go there, actually. I think what it is I've got more colour going on there and less. So I have this, which would be fun, but I'm just really loath to cover that. I guess that could go at the top. It's just a case of trial and error, really, you know? Trial and error, a bit like getting my camera right on this kitchen table, breaking out into a hot sweat, taking the arms off, putting it on. Oh my goodness, thought we were never going to get there. Okay, yes, but there's no depth down here. Another piece of vellum that could go in behind there. It's just cheap vellum that I've got, it's nothing special. I just went into one of our craft stores and found it. In the UK, we're very, I don't know, nobody knows what junk journals are. I've said this before, and nobody knows what decorative planning is, which is where I've come from. I've got a channel on decorative planning and junk journaling, and I've split this channel off. I mean, that would look nice, sort of poking out there, but not like that. Okay, rip, rip, rip. Okay, we've got to start, and I think it will change. It will evolve as we start sticking. I'm fairly sure of that. I've even got some of the actual paper bag, which could then stick out. So if you imagine that all together, if it was sewn, it would also be extra beautiful. So if you can sew, I definitely think give that a go. it's going to be sticking out the pages of my journal. I just don't want to, the issue is I do not want to cover this at all. Right, how do we feel about that? You can't tell me, of course, but hopefully you like it. And hopefully, if you've not seen my altered book junk journal things that I've done, it's not a series exactly, but let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing how I started off the altered book, because I've not shown that on camera before. So just let me know if, I think I'm going to start up here. Let me know if it's something you're interested to see how it's done. I can't remember who I learnt from, but there's lots of different ways to do it, so please don't think that, you know, I'm the only one who knows, or even how I show you is the only way to do it. But you do sort of rip out several pages out of the book, and this is going to evolve, I can see. You do rip several pages out of the book, and then you fold where you want your envelopes and your pockets as you're going along. So it's easier than sewing signatures into a junk journal, but it's harder. What's gonna go next? It's harder because you have to think about where your envelopes are gonna be. You have to think about the fragility of the pages, which I found was a challenge, and I had to cover some pages just to give it a little bit of strength. And I chose the wrong book in a sense that it was quite a sad story, so I had to cover up loads of the text, which I wouldn't normally want to do with an altered book. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you've just started following me, because you won't have been following me for long, because the channel has only been up for a few weeks. Let me know if you want me to show you from start how to do an altered book, and then my next junk journal can be another altered book. Could that be there? There. I can do a little bit at a time, because then I can see how it looks. I think Fabri-Tac for the material. So I'm very excited about my next journal. See, we've got Christmas in between, so I very much doubt I'll be starting anything, but what I can do is show you the kit. So on Etsy I have a few kits that I've made. I don't say that I'm experienced or amazing at it, but I do use my own kits, so I feel like it's a bit of an achievement, you know. So the next kit that I'm using is a vintage sewing one, which I've called Haberdashery, and I really like it. And I had a lot of trouble with the printing out, because I feel like I was using a lot of my own ink at home, and I wondered whether there was an easier way for me. So I actually found a printing company that would do it for like a quarter of the price of what it was costing me to print out. So let's just watch this space and see whether it's any good. So hopefully today or tomorrow the whole kit is going to come printed out, and need that to be a bit more raggedy there. Let's put this further somewhere. Sorry, I think this is warming up. There we go. This Fabri-Tac is amazing, but it's very expensive, so really I shouldn't be using it just for everything and anything. But when I'm on camera it just really dries quickly, so you guys can get to see the finished result without things slipping around all over the place. Yes, I'm looking forward to that coming. So that could be an altered book again, this haberdashery theme, if you want it. If nobody comments, then I could try a different type of journal. 2 signatures, 3 signatures, soft cover, hard cover, do you know what I mean? Any of those. So if I find this sticks out too far out the journal, I can still cut off. There's nothing to say that I, you know, have to have it massively hanging over. I'm gonna sort of glue for that, maybe this. Yeah, I can still cut it back, because at the end of the day I can do whatever I want, can't I? There is no right or wrong way for any of it, as I'm sure you realise. If you watch lots of people doing junk journals, they're all doing different things, which is great. So there we go. So that's that. I'm not going to put that whatnot. What's a whatnot? Doily, vintage doily on yet? Not yet. Okay, so there we go. So hubby's got man flu. He's upstairs coughing and spluttering. We need him to get better before Christmas, so keep making suggestions to him, but he's not the type to kind of take medication or do much unless he has to. I think it's a generational thing with him and his family, but hey ho, less to say about that the better. Right, now let me just stop and take stock, as it were. I'm just not sure, as much as I love this, I'm not sure that it makes it look too... I do think it looks better there. Blop that on. Right, I need to move to the other glue now. Stop cheating, Nairi, stop cheating. Okay, so rearrange things, because I had to go off and get some more memory space on the camera. So rearrange things at the bottom to, you know, see how things might look. So to work out what we've got stuck and what we haven't. And I also think I might use the other half of the envelope. So I think I'll try to get that in now. I mean, as you take things off, you know, things never go back on as you planned, and that's okay, I think, because it is supposed to look random and scrappy. That's the whole point of it. So if you end up doing something different than what you planned, then I think that's okay. So that's a bit regular, that piece of vellum, but it will cover up that white a little bit. So get that on there like that. I think we're getting there. It's definitely building, isn't it? Just don't, it's not something that I think you can rush, which is why going away and sorting the camera out kind of helped me. When I came back down, I had a quick look at it sort of randomly, thought, okay, how is it looking? And then that's when I swap things around. So sometimes it's good to go away from it and then come back and have a look at what you've got and whether you can change anything. I did rip that up, so I think I might use that somewhere. Do you know what? That could go in there. It's quite cute. I mean, ideally it would have something on the back for journaling, but at the minute, let's just pop that in there like that. And I do want that in as well. So let me tear that. So how are you guys? Are you doing any projects at the moment? Is it junk journaling something you just like watching, or are you starting anything, finishing anything? What's your favourite type of journal? Let me know in the comments. And also let me know, I told you that I'm doing a vintage theme, but I've also got some other kits on the way. So what have I been working on? I've been working on Peter Rabbit, which will be a little bit different. And should I have that sticking out there? Kind of feel like I don't want to cover up too much of the nice stuff we've got here. Maybe there. And I'm nearly done working on a sea themed one, Under the Water, and that one's quite bright and dramatic. So yeah, I sometimes feel like I need second kits to go alongside mine. No, I never find that one kit is enough, but I don't use all of both kits either, because I mix my kits with like genuine ephemera and plain pages and stuff like that. So I never use two whole kits. I just use bits out of both, you know, bits that I like. So how are we doing? I think we're doing good. Feels nice as well. Okay. I'm determined to get that lace doily in, even though I know it's probably not going to be ideal because it's going to cover up a lot of this fun stuff, but I am pretty determined to put it in. There we go. I'll show you in a minute how it looks in the journal, because I guess that's important for you to see the effect of it, whether you like it or not, whether you like a raggedy look or you don't. It's not for everybody. think I might just turn that and have that more like that. I mean, I quite like grunge, and I think I'm somewhere in between grungy and pretty. I don't like the really, I don't do really grungy journals, although I do think they're very effective and very clever. But I do like a bit of random, you know. I don't like things to look too regular, because I think that it doesn't look, for me, any personal opinions, it doesn't look old enough then. Right. I mean, everybody does different, and as I said, that's fine. There is no perfect way to do anything, really. As long as you're having fun and creating. And from my point of view, I like them to sell. I like people to like them enough to buy them. So I think about, when I'm making them, what would people enjoy and interact with? Okay, quite like that. A bit weird, but right. No, let me have a look at this. Right, let me see what this will look like. I think if it comes here, it can hang off the page, which will be lovely, because at the bottom of the journal you'll probably see it. So let's come down a bit more, and then it won't cover everything else up that I've done, will it? If I get that in now, I can stop faffing about it and worrying about where it's going to go. I don't think I'm going to need a huge amount of this, because it can flop around then. As long as the centre of the doily is where it needs to be, then it can kind of be loose. Sorry, I don't have everything with me at the minute, because, as I say, I normally work out in a different place. Right. Yeah. Let me have another look. A little shake. Okay, so it might, I think the doily will probably have to stick down there, because a little bit more, just a little tad. There we go. That's nice. And just a little bit here. So I don't want it ripping off or anything. I do want it to be secure enough. Again, sorry if that's affected the camera and the noise of it, I don't know. I've adjusted the camera stand so it's not so flexible, because I think that's what the problem was when I made my last. It wasn't the video for this channel actually, it was the other one. Okay, so I think we're doing well. I don't think we're there yet. So I think this envelope needs something going on it. So it could be that. Nope, let's use this one. We'll use that there. Let it stick out. I've got a nice piece of vellum here that I haven't used yet, and that would be cute. It's got the right colours on it. A bit regular, isn't it? But it will stick out lovely. So if I turn to the back, okay, oops, I don't want you to see my address, but it's sticking out nicely. I mean, that could go like that. That would look good. Let's do that. That might need stronger glue, we'll see, because it's going to pop off the edge of the page, so it needs to be secure. Well, I like that, yeah. But I do think, to be on the safe side, we need a bit of this. So as I said, if you are someone who doesn't get freaked out with a sewing machine, what you would do is just sew around randomly, but just be careful not to sew the pockets down, so you can kind of sew down here with a bit of a zigzag down there, maybe across there, and then come down there. Just be careful not, if you put something in your envelopes, then be careful not to sort of sew in the stuff into the envelope. Just have to be a little bit aware of that. So I like that beading now, and I just wonder whether we need a little bit more of that type of thing, sort of texture. I do have some silk satiny stuff which I've used on the edge of the journal, so that would mix in really nicely. I think just a tiny bit there. Yes, I'm going to grab some some of this other fabric that I have. Now, where could this go? Like, I don't want it to cover up anything. But it'd be nice if it could hang out somewhere. It could probably come out the bottom or out the top. So the top doesn't have a lot hanging out of it actually. So I'm a bit worried that you're going to see my address now. So I'm just going to cover that up quickly so you can't see it, because I want to turn this over in a minute. And we might decide that we're going to cut some of it off. We might not, but let me just do that a minute. Okay. So what I'm saying is, if this is down the bottom and it was hanging down the bottom of the journal, then I mean, obviously I will cover this so that the person receiving the journal doesn't have all this going on, but I wasn't going to do that on camera because I won't do raggedy at the back, so that might be a bit much. Okay, so yeah, so what I'm saying is when it hangs down from the journal, you'll get that hanging down, but as you can see, we don't have so much popping up over the top, so that material that I've just grabbed there, I can do that with. So let me, and because it's the raggedy, then I'm just going to take the bit off that I wouldn't almost normally use, which is this bit here, and just kind of go like that from the edge. Sorry about this noise. All right, and if it has been thumping around and vibrating with my voice, I apologise. It might be that it's been fine, but I think my kitchen table has quite a lot of flexibility in it, and being that we've got Christmas soon, I haven't got time to sort of really work out the filming inside, when the long-term plan would be to go back out to my other room. So it's just while my back is healing from a slip disc that I'm in here. Okay, how's that doing? It's a bit wet there, but that's okay, I think. That's just got to dry a little bit. Okay, so that will pop up the top of the journal. All right, so let's just put a few things away and then we'll show you how it will look, and we'll decide if we need to trim it down or we don't. Okay, so as I showed you before, this was fold out raggedy, and this one that I made with you today was intended to be like a full sheet that would just stay in. So if you see the back here, you can see where it is. Now toward the back of this altered book, I've got a lot of folded down pages that are in triangles and half pages, so it kind of looks like there isn't as much going on, but there is. It's just that the pages are smaller and folded down. So I put the raggedy in there, see what I mean? I've got these, and these three folded in together, so it makes it look like when you shut the journal there isn't so much fullness there. So I put the raggedy in here. Now I intended for that raggedy just to sit in there and be that size. Honestly, that's the truth, I'm admitting, because I think that sticking out there is enough. Obviously if I put it in like that now, that's going to massively hang over and look silly, so I've folded it where I think it needs to be, which is there. And once that's covered in something pretty or nice, that will look nice as well. I mean, that might cause a few problems with this envelope here, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, if you're sensible and not like me, you'll measure it better than I did, but it's really effective. Like, so behind here I've got a journaling page. I'll pop that in like that. I can use a paper clip and clip it in, or just leave it loose like that. So probably on the back, what I'll do is I'll make it effective for journaling, because all I have to do is cover that white tag a little bit, and I can leave that blank. People can journal on that. Whoever buys it can journal on that. So I just think it brings a whole lot of fullness to that journal there. So I'm going to shut that up now, like so. You can see there's lovely. I did trim that a little bit. It was coming out here more. Again, it would have been nice if that was more of a ripped effect, but because the envelope is there, you can't make that ripped because it's all got the nylon inside, or what, plastic inside, hasn't it? So I couldn't, with the vellum, sort of tear it, but that would have looked nice too. So it just looks like extra nice little tabs sticking out. So hope you've enjoyed that. If you've not found me before, please subscribe, and I will see you on my next video, which I think is going to be a lovely flip through of this journal. And I might do a SMR of it where I'm not talking, or I might talk you through. Haven't decided, but I'm looking forward to doing that with you. Thank you.